Hi people, it's Archivist here, and today I'm going to be talking about a few more games that have impressed me this E3. Okay, so I will begin with No Man's Sky, a very interesting title. In fact, even though the game isn't even out yet, I would go as far as to say the art style is instantly recognisable. You've got these kind of bizarre colour palettes, so whereas something might be a liquid, it's not necessarily water, so instead of being blue, it's green. Grass is red, why not? It's also meant to be a procedurally generated game. I don't know to what extent this is meant because I don't think everything's procedurally generated. They weren't entirely clear on how much has been pre-designed and how much is being created by the algorithm. It could be that the entire universe is all procedurally generated, so the positions of planets are unknown to the developers, or it could be that say the developers will say this planet has to be a desert planet, for example, but we don't know how it's going to turn out. We just put these certain elements in. There has to be some sand, doesn't want to be a lot of water, but aside from that it's on its own. So I think it depends, are they going to procedurally generate the entire universe or just the planets to the specific archetypes? But regardless, I think the central gameplay mechanic here will be exploration. In a developer interview, the developer suggested that this will not be a hand-holding game by any means. There aren't going to be traditional quests in the sense that, you know, an MMO might tell you to go kill 6 bears, but you could go and kill 6 of an animal and there will be something in return, but you weren't necessarily aware that something would happen. It's a game about finding things out. And to substantiate that, if you find a planet and you're the first person to find a planet, everyone who visits that planet after you will say, this planet was discovered by so-and-so, and I believe the planet will be on everyone's radar, so you've discovered it and now everyone knows about it. I don't know if you can rule a planet. I'd have to say if that's an element of gameplay, that's very cool. If you can find a planet and colonize it and take over for yourself, that would be very, very appealing to me. Another cool aspect to the game that I saw were there are dinosaurs. At least the creatures are inspired by dinosaurs, and being a huge dinosaur fan myself, I've loved them since I was a kid. In fact, one of the first interests I've ever had. It's very nice to see them. One thing that really impressed me though was the fact that you can seem to effortlessly transition from space, so you're flying around in space, and then you can go down towards a planet and instantly, without any loading times, you can just go into the planet's atmosphere and start flying around. No Man's Sky is a very interesting looking game, and I think it's a game that is going to be underestimated, but to anyone who, like me, thinks this looks intriguing and new and enthralling, keep your eyes on this one because I've got a good feeling about it. Okay, now moving on to Battlefield Hardline. When I saw this trailer, I was a little split. I'm a little ambivalent towards this trailer. On the positive side, it looks fine, it looks good. You go through this massive environment being chased or chasing in a massive robbery, and they're incorporating those solid, tried and tested mechanics we all know and love from the Battlefield series. There's destruction, there's, from what it looks like, solid shooting. So people who have played Battlefield 4 will be able to effortlessly transition into this new mode of play. But I'm going to be honest, I was hoping it would look a bit more different. When I saw Hardline, it just looked like a Battlefield match. And considering they're going in a slightly different direction, doing the whole cops and robbers thing, I thought they'd do a few more things to make it look different. Some people are going to love it because they're just going to say, wow, this looks awesome, cops and robbers style and Battlefield, what could be better? But I have to admit, I've played Battlefield 3, I've played Battlefield 4, seemed very similar to me, great games, but I wanted more, I wanted a even more different experience than this looks like it's offering. Having said that though, I think some of the best multiplayer experiences are the ones that force you to work together. And in your regular first person shooter deathmatch, people are also focused on getting kills. And if this is more focused on completing the objective, I mean the whole point is you're doing a bank heist, then that may make it so that people are more inclined to work together to accomplish the objective rather than going on personal vendettas against other players. That's something that's always been a plague to first-person shooters, particularly in a random match where you're not playing with friends. And maybe, just maybe, Hardline will change the focus. But, you know, ultimately it's down to how players behave. And the final trailer that really impressed me was the Batman Arkham Knight trailer. We've already seen a bit of Arkham Knight, but never really a true gameplay slice. And this definitely looks like it is authentic gameplay. The first thing that will strike anyone who watches this trailer are the graphics. They look stunning, but then again, I'd say the Arkham games have always had good graphics, and this just looks like the next gen step. I don't want to devalue it because they really do look awesome. It's almost because the other games looked so good as well, we just expect it now. We're just like, oh, of course it's got good graphics, it's an Arkham game. But yes, graphics are the first thing that struck me regardless. And of course there's the Batmobile, where you can seem to drive around in a speedy pursuit mode, and then there's that battle mode where you pull out your guns, you go around a bit slower. And I'd say this is what it really reminded me of. If anyone's ever played the Transformers Cybertron series, the difference between in that you can do the same thing, you can go around in your fast speedy mode, or you can go into your battle mode. There's a lot of strafing involved. It really reminded me of that, and that worked great in those games. So if the guys over at Rocksteady, I think Rocksteady are doing this, if they've managed to master the strafing vehicle art, then this could be a lot of fun. Another subtle thing they look like they've changed is there's more updraft on the Batman suit. You seem to be able to go up a lot further without having to go down too far. So you can probably cover a longer distance without ever touching the ground, and without even having to use the rappel. And the final part of the trailer was that they showed us the new model of Scarecrow. His design is awesome. It was awesome before, but now they've made it look even more menacing, more suiting of, say, the main character or the main villain, if he is indeed the main villain. So those were my thoughts on some of the E3 trailers we've seen so far. As always, people, thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.